Hello, today I'm going to show you how to do a very basic E-wrap cast on or bind on using your Gallery London Serenity Loom. The E-wrap cast on is a very simple one that a lot of beginner patterns will use. Now you'll need to pick your yarn of choice. Since the Gallery London Loom has the option of whether you want all the pegs in or not, most of my videos you will see me using it with every peg in. The only difference you need to make if you have every other peg in is you'll want to use a heavier weighted yarn, like a bulky or super bulky yarn. I'm only using a worsted weight, which is a 4-ply yarn. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a slip knot, because this loom does not have an anchor peg on it, which that's perfectly fine. You don't really need an anchor peg. You just do a slip knot and hook it to one of the pegs. I'm not going to be casting on the entire loom. I'm only going to do a little swatch, just enough to where you can see what I'm doing and you'll know how to do this yourself. For the E-wrap cast on, you will pull your working yarn behind the peg that you're wrapping and wrap it around the front. I'll do a few of these and then I'll hold it up so you can see the front and the back of what this stitch looks like. As you can see, your loops are on the front and then the back is kind of a flat, straight line. Your working yarn, as you work this, all the working yarn, the project will come down and come through this middle slot. So that's your first step to doing this cast on. What you want to do is, if you're using your whole loom, you'll just keep doing this all the way around. As you can see, it'll follow this and it will actually end up back at your beginning. If you're wanting to do a blanket using this cast on, I do suggest either removing the peg right before you're starting, or just skipping it or marking it somehow, just because it is very easy to be doing this and accidentally connecting the panels. And if you do that, it can be fixed, but it is very difficult to do so, and it's kind of hard to hide the ends up. So that's just an easy tip so that you won't end up with that very common mistake that a lot of people do. Okay, at this point, let's push these stitches down. And then at this point, okay, here we are. Your yarn is wrapped around here. I will zoom this in a little bit so you can see that a little better. Your yarn is wrapped around the front of this peg, and it's coming from in between the two pegs. If you're doing a flat panel and you're only going to be using the E-wrap stitch, which is essentially what we're doing, you will want to not wrap that peg, but wrap this one and go back. You can rewrap this peg if you want. It is completely up to you. Either way is not wrong. The reason I skipped that first peg is because in doing so, if it is a flat panel, it'll help it to, if it is a flat panel using one single stitch, it'll actually help it to lay a little flatter. Just because any single stitch, like an E-wrap stitch or a purl stitch or a flat stitch, any of those stitches by themselves will want to curl. Alright, you're back at your beginning. As you can see, I'm holding my working yarn like this. And since there's no anchor peg, what I'm going to do is just pull these first stitches over, and I can let go of that. And then I'm going to take the rest, and you take the bottom loops over the top. That last one, we're going to leave it alone. And that is your E-wrap cast on. Now, if you're wanting to do your E-wrap, all you do is you will just keep wrapping. As you can see, I skipped that first peg since I'm only using the E-wrap. You're going to take your bottom loops over the top loops, and you just repeat that. You just repeat those steps until your project is as long as you want, and then you pick an appropriate cast off to use depending on what you're making. Alright, I do hope that helps. Now, for a chance to win your very own Gallery London Serenity Loom, please visit www.thegallerylondon.org and sign up to their newsletter. A winner will be published every week on their website. Now the website link, a direct link to the website, is in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and good luck to everybody who subscribes to their newsletter and gets entered in a chance to win their own.